with Carol. So it's someone I especially know well because she's a teammate. She's coming directly from Brazil with several marketing and communication experience. She's today handling the international growth at Webmecanik, the French leader of marketing automation. And she will be presenting you the marketing automation key campaigns to transform your customer experience. So let me introduce you, Carol Correia.
Well, thank you all for attending to Automation Day 2020. My name is Carol, and you probably already know Webmecanik. We are an open source marketing automation solution based in France, but we work with more than 11 customers, with customers and partner agencies in more than 11 countries. They come from different industries such as B2B, B2C, and from these different sectors as well. They are either in retail, in banking, some are ISVs, some are in recruitment, and so on. So what they all have in common is that they automate the relationship with their leads and customers using marketing automation. So we're very glad to help them on this task. And I love that this year's Automation Day is about customer experience. And I'm going to talk about the key marketing automation campaigns and scenarios that you can put in place to transform your customer experience. So I hope that it can give you some ideas to create your own, or feel free to just replicate them as they are if you wish, okay? So customer experience, first of all, what do you think customer experience is? Is it how the customer interacts with whatever service person in your organization or in your company? Well, not completely. It is not this very narrow interaction with your product or with your service. It also includes a before and an after. So those befores and afters are critical on how people perceive your product and how you can create a winning customer experience. Marketing automation can help you on this task. And for that, let's take a look on how marketing automation put together in the digital conversion funnel. So one of the goals of the marketing team is to bring traffic to the website, to a website. So this traffic can be brought by SEO, by SEA, thanks to the work done in social networks with the help of community management. But until the visitors that are brought finally arrive to the purchase phase, or the closing phase, we know marketers that it is a very long road. For a start, only 50% of the leads really goes to the website. 50% are bounces. So they arrive and they practically automatically leave. So only 1% of the leads actually will enter into your CRM. These are the hot leads. This percentage can vary. Sometimes it is composed of 2%, 3%, but we agree that this is not a very encouraging data, right? We have to make the most of those who arrived but did not convert through the sales cycle. That's where the marketing automation break will be able to help us. So here, okay, like quick recap. So 1 out of 2 visitors arrived in your website by mistake. So these are the bounces, they left. That leaves us with half the visitors minus the percentage, the 1% that in fact converted. So we have now 49% of the visitors that came to the website. They didn't buy because they are not ready yet. So marketing automation will help us. The strategy and the technique will also help us to create the automated workflows to push these contacts to conversion. So the marketing automation will help us to cover each step of the conversion funnel. First with segmentation, because we're gonna segmentate segment the database according to demographic and behavioral criteria. We also can push them to the nurturing phase, creating and enhancing our relationship with them using newsletters, business cases, using white papers, for example, and the engage part, which is a more powerful nurturing phase with the help of abandoned cart workflows, demos, free trials, eventually some discounts. And finally, once the conversion is made, the marketing automation will continue to help us on the engagement of the contacts, because the marketing automation will also take care of the after sales, the post-purchase phase. So that's where the onboarding campaigns goes in, the thank you cards, the surveys, the loyalty programs, and so on. And in the end, the last one would be advocacy, to push them to community, to lead referral programs, and to social networks. Okay, so far so good. But before going further, what we like to do is to advise our customers to imagine the customer sales cycle. And for that, we can use the help of the different teams into the organization. You can use the help of the account management team, the sales team, the marketing team, the support team, and of course, unless you're new to the business, don't forget the customer. The idea here is to be able to visualize the current experience they're having, understand their expectations, to put yourself into the customer's shoes, and then you will be able to finally identify the possible customer touch points. So with that in mind, you can actively deliver, create and deliver relevant and personalized content, anticipate their needs, and create a proactive journey that you'll take advantage from to communicate with your customer all along the way. However, there are some important aspects that I would like to point out. The first thing is the communication with the customer cannot happen only when he has a problem. The support team acts on a reactive logic. They work in a reactive logic. So the customer reaches out because he has a request, he has a question, he has a problem, and the support team will try to help him. The customer experience team, or the customer success team, whatever you want to call it, if you have one of those teams, they work in a proactive logic, and they must be proactive and present all along the full customer journey. That way, you have more chances to satisfy the customer. Okay, and regarding the benefits of having a customer that is generally satisfied, we must tell ourselves, it's not easy most of the times, but customer marketing should not have as his first and most important goal only to sell more. It's more than that. There are other goals that come first, we can put it like this, such as the engagement, branding, growth, retention, advertisement. And in the end, okay, we live in a material world, so you can expect to have other valuable results, and you will, don't worry, they will, if you do your job well, they will buy more, they will spend more, stick around longer, and they will tell their friends. But that's not the first and the first goal of your strategy. Okay, so I hope that you are still there, because we now are gonna take a look into the 3 workflow examples that I chose for you today. One is dedicated to segmentation, the second one to the nurturing phase, and The third one is for the customer. Once you cross the finish line and finally converted your contact into customer. So first, segmentation. This first campaign, the idea, the goal is to segment the database according to the topics that interest them. So you can offer, the idea here is to be able to offer a more pertinent and interesting content. So here, well, let's take a look. We take the new subscribers of your marketing content and we send a first email to them. Okay, thank you for subscribing. And then you can present your different topics, your different products. It depends on how it depends on what you're selling and how your website is structured and how your content is structured. But the idea here is to offer them the possibility to choose something from the multitude of topics you have. And then we're gonna track the clicks present on the email and attribute a tag, a corresponding tag to each of the contacts. We're gonna, in a lead scoring strategy, we'll also add 10 points to them because that means they engaged with the content a little bit at least. So then the idea here is to have from this campaign at least 3 other segments related to the 3 topics. And then once you create specific content related to topic 1, topic 2, and topic 3, you know to who suggest to where to send this content. So you can expect to have better opening and click rates and to be and to touch specifically the customer need and the contact's need. Okay, and in the campaign, we also set up a reminder because if they don't click, we can always try again. And if they don't click again, they can exit this workflow. Feel free to send as many reminders as you want. It depends on how your strategy is structured, if you have a more aggressive approach or not. So this would mean that they would exit the workflow. This doesn't mean that they would stop receiving the content. They would just continue to receive the general content that you're going to prepare, but not the specific content in a segmentation approach. This kind of campaign is also good to launch when you start doing marketing automation, because okay, when you start doing marketing automation, sometimes you have already a small database that maybe is sleepy, that maybe you don't know if it's valuable anymore because it took a while, it's been a long time since you last communicate with them. So this first segmentation campaign is a good idea to get in touch with the existing databases when starting marketing automation. In this kind of approach, this campaign would have a double goal, reactivation and segmentation. Next, we have a nurturing campaign. And the goal here of this nurturing campaign is to push the lead to book an appointment. Simply this. So here the lead gets into our database after filling a form. So for example, a webinar replay, downloading a white paper, downloading a catalog, and they will arrive into this campaign and we'll ask ourselves, but this person has already the tag nurturing in place, because if it does, we don't want them to receive the communication all over again. So if yes, they will exit the specific workflow. If not, okay, then we're gonna add the tag and we're gonna start the campaign with a first email after 2 days. Thank you for your interest, blah, blah, blah. We enjoy we take the opportunity to suggest them to complete a form about a project. So that's a good way to receiving more info from them. And then 3 days later, we will send a second email with the suggestion to book an appointment with a sales representative. And then we're gonna ask the question, did he book the appointment? If yes, well, then he's gonna be sent to a different workflow, a workflow, let's say, that is dedicated to those who booked an appointment. And he is going to receive 50 points because booking an appointment means a lot in terms of engagement. So that's where the 50 points come from. If not, we are going to send a reminder, a third email with a reminder, hey, don't forget to book an appointment. Of course, do your job on wording and do the copywriting. Copywriting is everything. If you've been here this morning, that's one of the things we learned this morning. So we're gonna ask ourselves again, did he book an appointment? Not we, the machine, the marketing automation machine will ask itself, did it book an appointment or not? If yes, same thing. If not, then he will lose 40 points for not engaging with this specific workflow. And and he's gonna be sent to a second nurturing workflow, workflow number 2, because a nurturing workflow can also be a kind of informative campaign where we are gonna inform them about new features, new products, some exclusive contents, VIP offers eventually, blog articles, and so on. Because he's not ready to book an appointment, we understood that, and maybe he just needs to get more nurtured to do it later. So this would be a second idea for a campaign that is, I mean, is in precedent in the B2B industry, that's for sure. Okay, so that leaves us with our third campaign. And the third campaign, as I said, is dedicated to the customer, those who already purchased your product, your service. And before I show you the campaign, I just like to point out a few things regarding this part of the marketing automation strategy. Normally, this part is often neglected. I mean, people invest a lot of time and effort to generate traffic to the website, to generate leads, to nurture these leads, because their ultimate goal is to convert them into customers. Okay, that makes sense, I get it. But then, nothing. I mean, once the conversion is made, these people never heard from them again. They never heard from you again. Meanwhile, your competitors will keep the communication with your customers going while you stay silent. So just one thing, just something to think about, okay? And we like to say, and I like to say that, that customer retention is the new conversion, even if you are not in a subscription model like us. We know that if you invest a lot of time getting new customers, but then your churn rate is super high, I mean, you're just like ice skating, as French people would say. And a good retention rate, if you're looking for one, is directly associated with the quality of the onboarding process. So this is the first and most important touch point for that matter. That's why I chose an onboarding campaign to cover this part of the strategy. And really quick, what is customer onboarding? Well, customers onboarding is about using the product and experimenting it, learning to be successful in this use, getting updated with new features and on the changes, and buying more eventually, because we already talked about this, okay? So here we have the new customers that arrive into your database, and then they will go through a campaign that will cover their first days, their first 10 days. Due to my lack of graphic design skills, this campaign is separated in 2 slides. So we're gonna take a closer look into it in a bit. So the customer receives a series of emails that will cover the first 10 days. Here are some suggestions about the content you can explore, such as the welcome email, the instructions to open the account, how to customize your dashboard, how to invite 2 new members, first steps to succeed, tips and tricks, a webinar, a replay for a webinar that was specifically made and designed for customers. And then at the end, we suggest them to do a review usage with the account manager. So they talk to a real person to see how these first 10 days went, okay? And taking a closer look into the campaign, we see that after each one of the emails, we check if the email was opened or not. If yes, they are gonna gain 10 points. If not, they're gonna lose 10 points. Either way, they will continue on the workflow and they will receive the other, well, 6 emails in this case, and arrive into in the end of the campaign scenario. The scoring system in this case, which is a simple way to create something for us to measure and identify easily the success or not of this campaign, will allow us to first identify if and when the onboarding process fails, and to take action. So maybe at the end of this first 10 days and of this campaign specifically, if we find a contact that has minus 60 points or minus 70 points, maybe it's a time for a call or a meeting with the customer service team, right? To take action. And the lead scoring part applied to the specific case can also help us to plan triggers according to those points. And you can also create some sort of red flag alerts if your customers do not interact with your communications. Okay. There are other campaigns ideas for the customer phase, such as the ambassador campaigns that will allow you to identify and to support the brand advocates. And after identifying and supporting the brand advocates, why not asking them to provide reviews about you, about your product in the specialized websites for that matter. There are also usage campaigns that you can do. If you know, for example, how many times they logged in, how many times they used your product, and some sort of user status, take advantage of this data and create workflows aligned with this data to either support them or either help them to use your product better. Okay. And some takeaways before I finish. Well, during the process, during your campaigns, don't forget to add forms to gather more info from your contacts. That will enrich your database, that will enrich the possibilities that you will have to create more complex campaigns and more performant campaigns as well. And not at the end, but all along the way, measure your KPIs and adapt, because we know that marketing automation, and if I may say, digital marketing in general, involves a lot of test and learn. So test along the way. And automation, we know that it is configured to be fully automated, of course. And we know that the hard part of the job is to define the strategy, brainstorm the workflows, put in place the workflows, test the workflows. So this is the hard part. But once it is done, it still needs some oversights and some maintenance. So don't just leave it there because you finished your work, your hard work, and then you go do something else. It needs these regular oversights and maintenance, so you can adapt to your audience, and you can see if the customer life cycle still makes sense, and eventually correct and adapt accordingly. Okay, so we've reached the end of the presentation. I hope you liked it. I hope that it gave you lots of ideas, no matter your context, your industry. And let's see what you have as questions. If you want to share your experience with us, feel free to in the question chat. Otherwise, let's keep the conversation flowing through LinkedIn or through email. I'll be happy to continue the conversation there as well.
Thank you very much, Carol. So we have few questions, so I will ask them to you. Okay. So we have one technical who's asking if it's possible to get your presentation. So I simply ask them to reach you on LinkedIn, and maybe you'll share that with them.
Yeah, cool.
Because the organization AutomationDay, we don't plan to share the different support of presentation, but I believe if you contact directly the speakers, you have no problem with that. The first question concerning your presentation is about the creation of campaigns for the customer relationship. As you said, the most complicated is to define a strategy, think about it and define it. But is it complicated technically to create a campaign, or we can also create some simple campaigns, for instance?
Yeah, good question, because sometimes people are like scared about marketing automation, and they're like, okay, that's cool, but oh my gosh, that's too much. I don't have the resources. For start, we're two in the marketing team. I mean, start small. You don't have to have a full team creating content and creating complex workflows or anything. Start small, and just make sure that the campaigns make sense considering the customer life cycle. If not, nothing says that it has to be a campaign with 100 of actions or marketing actions and so on. Even because it is complicated, it's to test large campaigns, and we advise our customers to divide the campaigns in several campaigns. Then you can push the contact to one campaign to another. You don't have to create the whole strategy in one campaign. So it's even a better practice, a small tip and a better practice to create different small campaigns. And if it's difficult to put in place into the software, I don't know. I know about the Webmecanik automation, and that it's not, because we have a really cool campaign builder, which is very visual, and that you can create easily. It's like a drawing. Sometimes people ask me, okay, this drawing is very cool, but when do we get to create the real campaign? And I say, oh wait, this is the real campaign. By the way, don't push publish, because otherwise the emails are gonna be sent. So okay, yeah.
So it can be simple. We have to think the strategy by the whole picture and following the customer life cycle, but everything can be small and really targeted. So you say, so the strategy is big, but the action can be small. And what about the team that need to work on it? Should it be the whole team in your new company, or we should focus only sales team or marketing team, support team, whatever?
Yeah, the marketing automation software and strategy, is linked. It's managed by the marketing team. The marketing team can and should be in communication, in constant communication with the other teams, because it's always great to have some insights from the sales team, from the account management team, because we also need to have this view from the other teams to understand better the customer life cycle. So yeah, the marketing team will manage the strategy and will be technically will be responsible for the operational part. And if you want, you can also include the sales team if your marketing automation solution is not linked to the CRM. If it is, your sales team will have the info from the marketing automation software anyway. If not, you can give them access for them to have the whole picture of each one of their leads.
Okay. By the way, we have one participant, sorry, who's already using some marketing automation software and saying that the suggestion to divide a big campaign in several small campaigns would be very useful for them. So they appreciate the advice. I have like a few more questions. You said like think small to start, and scoring seems to be something complicated to achieve. Do we need scoring to make a good campaign, or it's also something which is not necessary at the very beginning?
We believe that lead scoring is a more advanced part of a marketing automation strategy. You cannot just attribute or remove points like this. I mean, here's 12, here's 20.
It has to be built with a real logic behind.
Exactly. By the way, you will find yourself with contacts that have 33 points, and what does this mean, you know? So yes, this is an advanced part of the strategy. Is really helpful, but you have to already understand what makes sense, what the actions have is specifically important in your cycle to define how many points they are gonna get. But you don't have to use lead scoring. I gave you the example of points to be attributed, but you can also just use basic segmentation, and you can find a way to work and to find the leads after, because we must not forget that the lead scoring strategy, the main goal is to easily identify in which step of the sales cycle the contact is. And then once we identify easily, okay, he's at the end, he's at the beginning, we plan triggers according to this state. You can also identify this and plan the triggers using segmentation. We'll just
on top of that, maybe if you're in B2B industry, you don't have so much leads, so you don't especially need to have simple visibility with points. If you have like 5 or 10 leads a month, maybe you can easily manage all of them without scoring, right?
Yeah, sure. So there's always a way. I mean, it's a machine that works in our favor if you do your job well, and there's always a way to do things differently using segmentation, using custom fields. I mean, when defining the strategy, we can also envisage all the possible solutions for that.
Okay, I will ask a last question and then I will conclude. So the campaign you gave as example are really related to the topic of today. So customer experience, the relationship we can have with our customers or prospects. Is it possible also to run campaigns that are more brand or notoriety awareness oriented?
Yes, it is possible. It is possible to
more as a standard communication tool, actually, like working on what are my strengths, what is my product doing, or stuff like that.
Yeah, you can do your promotion, your auto promotion, and then measure the success of this kinds of campaigns. Of course, that the segmentation that will be generated from this will not be life-changing, but it's a start. It's more a unilateral kind of communication, but it can also be used. Why not?
Excellent. Thank you very much. I will just conclude this first international workshop. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you. you.